Hello, folks. I'm Bob Kitchen, one of the owners here at Maple Hill Golf, and you're listening to the official podcast of Maple Hill, the Hill Unscripted. Every 2 weeks, I'll bring you the real talk from inside the golf world, insights, stories, and conversations that matter to you as a golfer and a valued part of the Maple Hill family. Welcome, everyone, once again to the Maple Hill podcast, the Hill Unscripted. I'm here with a gentleman that I just got the pleasure of meeting. His name is Harry. Am I saying it right? Nodwell?
Yeah, you got it.
And you are the Wilson Golf Global Product Line Manager. Is that right?
Yes, pretty much. Global product line manager for hard goods. Yeah, so anything
hard
club
goods,
related, I'm your guy. Yeah.
Love that. And how old are you?
I am 35.
Love it. And you're not from Michigan. I can tell from your accent.
I'm not from Michigan. No, I'm
Right.
I'm across the other pond. Not the Michigan Lake Pond, but I'm across the other side of it.
And what year did you move to the States?
God, now 2013. Yeah, about 2013 now. So here for a few years.
What moved you here?
I went to college in Virginia, playing soccer and golf. So I played both sports at my university, and then went on to find a job. Found my wife, which I wasn't expecting to, and that's how the history was wrote.
You married an American chick.
I did, yeah.
All right, love it. You guys got any kids yet or no?
We do. We have a little man. He's running around upstairs and just causing havoc as we speak. So
I love that. I got two little guys, and they're not little anymore. They're huge. But so let's just jump right into it. Let's talk a little bit about your job. For people who may not know you yet, can you give us a quick rundown of what your actual role is with Wilson as far as the Global Product Hardlines Manager?
Yeah. So basically, from concept to bring it to market,
right.
I write the briefs. I'm trying to look at 2-3 years ahead of time and think about what the market might be like, how this product could be received, and the trends that could happen. So I do some research analysis on that, and then I bring it to the team, and we go over it in a lot of scrutiny and detail, and then I go write a brief. We reevaluate the brief and make it a firm brief, pass it on to R&D, and then we go back and forth nonstop on prototypes. I hit them, get some data. We send it out to our tour players. We send it out to player testing, get feedback, bring it back again, adjust. And we do that for about 1.5 years until it's approved. And then from there, we write that PO and we bring it to market in 2 years' time. So it's a long 2-year process, sometimes even 3 years, but it's a fun job to have. It doesn't feel like you're working most of the time, even though you're grinding behind here.
Right. And are you coordinating with other countries then too, I would imagine?
Yep. Yeah. So everything that we do on a global aspect, but then certain things might be market specific. So for instance, the shaft offerings that we go with US might be slightly different to EMEA, slightly different to Asia, those kind of stuff. So we dial that in there, especially headweights as well. So some markets want something a little bit lighter. So that way we take out weights in the driver head and specifically put them out there for that market and create that SKU for them. So everything is very much detail orientated to get the best performing product. Yeah. So R&D are fantastic at doing all that and figuring it out. And I just create the concept and they bring it to life.
Exactly. You kind of just get the ingredients and let them have to worry about baking the cake.
Bakers. I just get the ingredients and let them bake.
That's perfect. And I would imagine Europe and America is very similar, but Asia's not.
Correct. Yeah. Europe, there's a lot more, there's a bit more graphite shafts in there. That's a little bit lighter. I would say that maybe the stigma isn't as attached too much in the Europe countries compared to the US. Yes. Even though I believe that graphite is going to be the next big thing in irons. I've been saying that for a few years, and it's starting to see it a little bit here and there. But Europe, it's a majority of like the shafts out there, the offerings, because it's a little bit lighter, slower swing speed, but it's not necessarily for slower swing speed. I play a graphite iron myself, shaft myself, and I'm 125X. Swinging about 120 miles an hour of a driver. So I just like the feel of graphite. I can get the torque that I need to. Dispersion's tight. And I don't have to swing it as hard as like a Duo X1 130 grams. So I think that's
exactly. I've told numerous people, I said, there's just a lot more you can do with graphite. I mean, that's not
Yeah,
news. That's obvious. You can just make it way more flexible and way stiffer, and you can mess with the weights considerably. I think they need to get more offerings, and they need to get the price in the spot where it's affordable. And if they can do those two
right.
things, I think you're absolutely right. It will be huge. As far as Wilson in Europe, just to touch on that real quick, because I know you guys have quite a following in Europe, and I think that your market share is probably a higher percentage than it is in the US. Am I accurate in that?
We're more well known in Europe just because of the legacy of the brand a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yep.
In the US, we are a little bit, I guess, smaller if you want to call it that. But the opportunity in the US is huge for
Right.
Wilson just to grow.
Yeah. Just the
And
amount of people.
if we can keep growing like we have been in the last 3 years, I think we'll start getting a little bit more of an even count on Europe to US.
Agreed. And I know that we'll get into that. That's further down the question list here, but just being one of the only survivors of the old era to the modern era is quite a testament to Wilson in and of itself. And it was way before you were born, and I'm 47
Yeah.
years old, and it was even before I was born. But Wilson's been around my whole life, and like McGregor and Spalding and some of these other brands didn't really survive the onslaught of Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, Cobra paying like the big giants in the industry now. But Wilson has definitely turned the ship around, and I would say they probably turned the ship around, I'm going to guess 10 to 15 years ago, and they've been trending in the right direction for quite a while now, and there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, no, it's 100% correct. We are trending to. We've changed our demographic of golfer. Instead of going to what the majority of the market is, where it's kind of game improvement ish, maybe a little higher, where the golfing public, we're kind of going the opposite. Like we're going after the young ball striker. We're going after that really serious competitive country club or aspiring golfer to get to the next level in college, whether it be high school, college, pros, whatever that will be. We're going after that golfer. We want it to be the best performing product for these types of golfers, and that's kind of what we're doing in marketing and pushing on that product toward that young ball striker. So we're super happy with the product that we're putting out, and it's only gonna keep pushing forward. Like one of the biggest things that I keep getting from golfers when they hit the product, it's one getting them to hit the product, and then because they've never hit a Wilson. And then I said, look, just hit it. And he'd go, wow, I'll never expect that from Wilson. And
Right.
I said, well, we are now changing fundamental like ideologies of golfers of don't feel surprised, expect it from us with the quality. And that's what we're pushing out year after year, and just keep on kind of compiling on ourselves with how good this product actually is for the consumer.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get more into that as we progress. I've got a couple of the new clubs here today, and I want to talk about that for sure and how that kind of caught us off guard, to be perfectly honest. So we'll get into that in a minute. How did you personally get into the golf equipment side of the industry? You talked a little bit about your previous job, which I want you to bring up, and then what drew you to Wilson? So you can talk about both of those.
Yeah, so I came out of college and I managed to get a job at My Golf Spy, which is a media outlet that does extensive testing, and it's all that unbiased testing that My Golf Spy pride themselves on. And I did that for 5 years as a soft good, and then went into the hard good section and overall just the testing methodologies as well. So I've seen probably on this case millions of golf balls being hit into a screen and collecting data and analyzing the data and seeing what ticks for certain companies and what doesn't, where's the area of improvement, where they do well as, and then seeing all of the product in one place and seeing, hey, that really identifies to the consumer with the looks at address, the top line, the sole, the leading edge, the offset, like all of these kind of things.
Right.
I've saw that for 5 years. And then from there, I was like, I felt like I wanted just to see what other challenge I can get out there. And that's when I moved to Wilson as their product line manager for hard goods. And then from there, progressed into global. So yeah, it was a great transition, learned so much at my previous position and allowed me to take that into Wilson and start helping get to where we want to get to.
That certainly helps. And My Golf Spy, like you said, being as unbiased as they are, oftentimes Wilson gets ranked a little higher because I've always said, if you're open-minded enough to actually come in and try everything, first and foremost, you're doing yourself a favor because you're going to yield better results than the guy that comes in and goes, I'd like to get fit for the new Titleist 250s. Okay, Titleist 250 is a great iron, right? Hell of a golf club. You can't argue that Titleist makes great golf clubs. They do make great golf clubs.
Right.
But if you're going to pigeonhole yourself into T250s, that's what you're getting. And who knows if there's something else that was better? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe those are the best for you. Maybe they are. Titleist makes great clubs.
Yeah.
But if you try it against the XBs or CBs or, you know, whatever, or even Dynapower Forged in that particular case, those would all probably be in that same boat. You got a better chance. And I think when people read My Golf Spy, the more open-minded they are. I think this kind of goes for life too. The more open-minded you are, the better off your results will be.
Exactly. It's just what works for me might not work for you, right? So go out there, experience the product, and narrow it down, and then go from there, and then just trust the fitting process, trust what your gut instinct as well. But I would say if you go into a fitting with an open mind and say, I want the best performing products, let's try it out, and then hopefully we'll be in consideration for that, and hopefully the technology that the R&D put behind it will be good for them, and they'll put it in their bag.
You know, we sell off TrackMan, right? So I'm a salesman. You work for Wilson. I could lie to somebody and say, "Oh yeah, Wilson's the best. Buy Wilson." You work for Wilson. You're paid to say Wilson's the best. But the TrackMan doesn't lie, right? It's just telling you numbers. And oftentimes your guys' product is really, really good.
Yeah,
it wins a lot, and I'm sure you've seen that plenty of times. And then you're banging your head against the wall. Well, how do we get more people just to try it? Like, how do we make it cool? And that the next question is, over the last few years, Wilson seems to be gaining serious momentum in the equipment space. What do you think has changed?
I would say thought process of how we attack marketing the product. Kind of like I said, going after that young ball striker. How can we attract golfers that may or may not know what Wilson was? They're just going to try it for what Wilson are today. And maybe they don't want to play something that their dad or granddad wanted to play. Like they can be a little bit more original to what they want to do, and don't want a Titleist TaylorMade Callaway, whatever that club would be. And they want something a little bit more unique to their personality or just them, and maybe something that other golfers might not have in the bag. And then they go and beat their buddies and smoke them on the golf course, and then that gets them talking. And you playing a Wilson club, Wilson golf ball driver, what is it? And then you go and smoke them. And then, so I would say the biggest shift for us is mentality wise of how we are going after a consumer, making the best product for those young ball strikers, and then the marketing assets to go along with it. So it's a collective from the top down of we're committed to this journey and committed to where we want to go, and all coming together and making that come to life.
I think you guys have done a really good job. This isn't even on my list. I think you guys have done a really good job with like making Wilson like cool again. You know, like it's these, like you're talking about these kids, and since COVID, of course, the amount of sub 40-year-olds is through the roof. And they want something cool and different, unique, and they want to find the next thing. And that's how these brands like Tacomo and all these other brands that are kind of just more marketing companies than actual real, true dyed-in-the-wool club companies. That's how they've survived, right? Like even, I know Ben Hogan's back doing something or other, but it's just a license and whatever. But Wilson R&Ds makes great stuff. You guys keep the prices reasonable, but you've got that cool factor again, which is very, very tough, right? Cracking that nut. That's probably what you bang your head against the wall more than anything, right? Your product is great. I don't think there's an arguing, nobody can argue that. If once we actually get it in people's hands, like, yeah, this is really good. I don't think it's, I don't think anybody else has a leg up on you guys, but just getting it in the people's hands, especially that hot demographic, that sub 40-year-old.
Yeah. If you go back in the day and you look at your VJ Sings, I think Langer as well, and all of those good players wearing these old school visors with Wilson red on the top script,
exactly, yes,
playing the Masters and just ripping it around Augusta. Like that's the kind of fun vibe that the marketing really love. And then you combine that with the modern ball striker, you get some really cool assets. I don't know if you saw some of the assets for this year for the staff model, but there isn't any hype of like music or anything like that. It's just poetry in motion is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
It's the birds chirping in the background. It's just hitting fantastic shots with the divot coming perfectly rectangular, and flying down the fairway, hitting greens, just those kind of feelings that you used to get as a kid going up grinding, practicing, and then you go out and play the course, and like those kind of inner monologues that you would just come to be. That's what the marketing they're trying to tap into for these young ball strikers, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. And like I said, the R&D have made the club to do that as well. So it's a great combination.
Completely agreed. I think that's the name of the game, is the combination, because it, as we've said before on this podcast, that telling a story is great, and it's even better when the story is true. And you guys 100%. Have got a story, and the story is true. And like a lot of these online marketing companies, I'll pick on Tacoma for a second. Like, they just don't have much substance behind them. And that's that I know you're not supposed to say anything, so don't say anything, but that's my own personal take. And I see these people, especially these kids with these clubs all day long. I'm like, man, we got great clubs that are very reasonably priced. Like, you don't have to spend $1 million on irons to get a really good set. Like Dynapower Forge, this is hard to beat, man. And we just bought the last year's on a closeout deal. That was awesome. And there's just, you guys make golf affordable. And I can't thank you guys enough for keeping your prices where they are. And I'm sure that's also another challenge for you. So the next question is, without giving away too many secrets, what was the main goal or theme behind the 2026 Wilson lineup?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I figured.
Combo is probably like the idea is, I mean, look, whether we admit it or don't admit it, ego plays a factor a little bit into golf purchasing. Me especially, when I first brought the idea to the team and we all collectively agreed, was let's make everyone aspires to play blades, but no better, some of them, cannot hit blades. Even though our blade is the most forgiving blade on the market, I'm going to say that point blank. It is one of the...
In our testing, it is too. Yeah.
So easy to hit for a blade, I should say. When you look at a blade, you think ball striker, you think we'll never stop making blades because it's just our DNA. I can't play that. Now, I can play a player's performance or something in between a player's and player's distance with a little bit more forgiveness, but it's still not a blade. And it's like, but what if we brought the two together? So that's why we made the XB and the blade very similar in looks, but yet the perform slightly different. So in a bag, the ego is like, it gets stroked a little bit and you're like, all right, yeah, the other everyday consumer might not know it's a hollow body for the XB, right, but you've got a full set of blades. This guy must be really good. So that was the idea. A little bit of ego, but also we didn't have anything in that hollow body construction that fitted someone that wanted that player compact look, but a little bit of forgiveness built in. And that's why we went after that golfer. Because I firmly believe there's going to be a new category come up in the players and players distance, and we're calling that players performance category. There's so many golf clubs that kind of go in there, and the stretch between players and players distance, the lofts are getting very different, lots of different constructions, and I feel like there's going to be one coming right up in the middle of that players performance category, hence why we brought out that XB. So yeah, I mean, even the CB is like you can combo anything with those. What the R&D team did as well, we made the loft slightly different in the XB compared to a more traditional loft in the CBs and blades. But it goes from like 1 to 1.5 and maybe up to 2, depending on what lofts you go. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a very easy combo set. And look, if you get a little bit, you're not going to expect it to jump off the XB irons. They're very consistent across the face because of that variable face thickness. But if you did want to weaken them to get a little bit closer to the blade, you can do that via custom. So it's a very easy transition for golfers to go into something blades or CBs on the bottom end and XBs at the top, and feel very confident that you're going to hit your numbers straight away.
I saw a ton of combo sets personally, and I personally am against combo sets because I always said, tell me something that the MB or the CB 9-iron and pitching wedge can do that the XB can't. That's my question, everybody, and they can never answer that question because I don't think it is an answerable question. What the other thing that drives me crazy is that people think that loft is the only thing that determines launch, and that's not true, right? Like, so some of these people, well, I looked at the lofts of them and I got to bend the 5 and 4 to blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, you don't. Like, yeah, no, I do. I looked at the lofts. I'm like, loft, CG, spin rates. There's so many things that determine launch and
so many
actual trajectory. I said, if you're just chipping with them, all it is loft. if you're going to go out and chip with a 5-iron.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I completely agree. It's a combination of everything. Technology behind it. What has they done with that face? What have they done with the CG? What have they done with the combinations of the shaft? Because the shaft is going to add some dynamic loft to it, depending on what shaft you have. Like all of these factors will go into launch, spin, descent angle, angle of attack. Like all of these come in together. So I understand that distance was the king along like during COVID and before, where I just need to hit it long. And then everyone's starting to come back to, you know how it goes. The industry goes around in circles, right? Now it's more fitting. How can we get a tighter dispersion? We still keep some distance, but we need better numbers on launch. So even though that they may be a slightly bit stronger, you've really got to look behind the curtain and see what the R&D team didn't just come to that because they picked up some numbers. They came to it because of launch conditions, and they're never going to put anything that's a little bit knuckly out there because it's going to come in a 20-degree descent angle and run off from the back to the front.
Right, won't hold the green. Yeah.
And the strokes gained is not going to be good. So
exactly right.
Everything now you're doing is purposely built for these irons. So when everyone sees a loft, it's all to do with why have they put that loft structure in there and what goes behind it. Just because they're stronger doesn't mean you're going to come out like a bullet and it's going to go 40 yards longer than your other 7-iron.
Let's just say you take your 7-iron 150 yards and now it goes 160. So what do you do for 150? Okay, so now you got an 8. So then what do you do for 140? Now you get a 9. So pitching wedge 130. So okay, so now what do you do for 120? So like you have what problem have we solved? Like it is easier to hit an 8-iron close to the hole than it is a 7-iron. I understand that, but you're still going to hit. You're going to have 120 yards at some point in your life. Going further on irons, I always call them distance control. I said as long as you're happy with how far they're going, who cares how far they go? Because they give you a whole set of them. Driver, you're trying to hit as far as you can and find your ball. Yeah. The rest of them, it's just distance control. And like you said, like we years ago, Cobra and Tommy Armour back probably before you. They changed the game on lofts a million years ago before when Ping I 2 owned the world and 845 came out and the Cobra oversize came out. Lofts changed. And everybody's like, wow, holy cow, am I hitting it further? Well, 3-irons stayed at 21 degrees and pitching wedge down to 44. And you got less usable lofts in the set.
Yeah, I always thought that same thing with when you saw Bryson, right, hit his pitching wedge 160 yards or whatever it is. I would say, I would love to know the lateral loft on that because I guarantee it's not 46. He's a big dude, but hitting a 160, 170, whatever that number is, his lofts aren't going to be traditional. There's going to be he's fitting himself off a spin, peak height, and descent angle. Right. And if he can generate that power, that he can stop it and still strengthen lofts, that's for his game. But it's not going to be for everyone.
Right. He also doesn't have a job other than just golfing and maybe shooting some YouTube videos. Exactly. So I mean. Like, a lot of people are like always aspire like this guy or that guy. Oh, Tiger Woods plays this shaft or, Rory or Bryson or whomever. And I'm like, okay, as soon as you start swinging just like them, that's probably the right fit for you. But until you don't swing, but you probably don't swing like them. That's why they are who they are. That's
where the ego comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We're still dealing with men, right? So let's talk about product here for a little bit. I want to actually jump into the staff model stuff. And truth be told, I don't really want to talk about the blades and the CBs too much because they look fantastic, and I'm proud of them, and I think the finish is great. And I think those have already been kind of a tried and true winner for us. We saw a few blades because they're blades, and the CB does pretty well for that conventional traditional golfer that just wants the forged cavity back. But the XB, I would say, came out of nowhere when Pete showed it to us. I was kind of half shocked you guys went that direction. And then the initial feedback, you guys have got some influences out there that are hitting this thing and loving it. And this thing is right now it's a bomb going off. It's crazy.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely come to our attention that it's resonated with the consumer, put it that way. And it's compact, right? We wanted to make it look sleek, but be very compact for a player that wants to be that ball striker. The CG is perfect. Like everything about it was pushing towards that thinner top line, smaller sole compared to what you may see in the category, just less offset. We really pushed this towards that better player, but it's very forgiving. It doesn't have to be that golfer that has to be hitting off the middle of the club face every single time. This, you can spray it a little bit and still get fantastic results out of it from a dispersion standpoint, front to back, left to right. So yeah, the R&D team knocked it out of the park.
I completely agree. And like you said, the sound, the look, the feel, the performance, the price points. Again, you guys, you probably can't talk about that too much. That's more my side of the. You don't have to worry about that too much. That's the other guys. You're trying to make the best club you can, and they're trying to worry about, well, what are we going to sell it for? But you guys nailed this thing in every single aspect, and I wasn't really expecting Wilson to jump into this category, but I think you guys, the feedback and the amount of people I've had ask me about this iron and XB in particular, by name is like, how'd you hear about it? And how'd you hear about it? Oh, I went and hit him at a demo day, and my buddy was telling me about him and all these things. And man, oh man. So you guys have got a juggernaut in your hands, and I couldn't be more proud. And I don't know how you do it. Harry, I don't know how you do it. You're sitting on the 2027 product right now, and you got to keep your mouth shut. You already know what's cool that's coming down the road. And I don't know how,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know how the hell you do that.
It's hard. Like sometimes, because I'm working in 28 and beyond now in 29, and I have to sometimes go back and say, what are we launching this year and how to present it. Oh, that's right. We did this, this, and this. So it's definitely, and this is one that we were so excited to come back, and then we've been obviously moving on to something different, and then launch happens, and I have to come back and say, all right, staff model XB. Oh, this is right. This is like the massive step forward that we took in Wilson. Right. And like I said, that staff model XB has got face optimization for maximum forgiveness. So you got AI that's helping us determine where to make individual faces from pitch and wedge all the way up to that 2-iron, which we do a 2-ironing as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too.
So anyone wants to hit absolute bullets down the fairway, they can do that with that 2-iron. That hollow body construction, but also the one biggest thing that we wanted to get right, and it's hard to do in a hollow body construction, is make it not feel or sound clicky.
Right.
And it's just very, very tough, because anytime you have a hollow club, you have more room for sound to vibrate and make it ring out for longer. But the R&D team took so many steps to make sure that wasn't a thing with this iron, and they've done rib structures in there, urethane injection to help dampen face vibrations, but also helps with sound. They've done so many internal things to this. It really pushes boundaries, and it gets very close to the feel of the CB and blade for that combo experience. So kudos on the R&D team. Absolutely nailed it with us.
Yeah. And like you said, you got to go back in time, even though it's present day for us, because you're probably working on this in 24 and maybe even 25, but probably more 24 as far as what comes out in 26. So it's hard for the listeners to this podcast to understand that. But if I got a bunch of young guys here that are all jazzed up about golf clubs, they could never sit on this information like what you can do. I'm sure you have like a whole bunch of non-disclosure type of stuff you can't talk about.
So much stuff. Yeah.
A whole bunch of lawyers.
Trove of everything. Yeah.
Yep. But my staff could never do your job, because they are so, as soon as they see something, it's just, they talk about it everywhere. And, I read this on the blog last night and all this stuff. So kudos to you, brother. I'm proud of you for the job you do and being able to keep that underneath your hat. That's hard to do, man. So anyhow, enough about that. I want to talk one more time here. We brought it up, but I want to discuss a little bit of Dynapower Forge. So my store manager, Matt Tucker, is on staff with you guys. And I think I got maybe 2 other guys on staff with you guys. My brother is actually, he's a lefty and he's a chop. So he plays normal Dynapowers, which are phenomenal too. So the Dynapower family, and I'm just ripping on Andy a little bit. You've never met Andy, but I always poke him a little bit on this podcast. So the normal Dynapower family has had great success already. You're just building off of that.
Yeah, no, it's Dynapower Forge is that player's distance iron that is, yes, it's a distance iron, but that doesn't mean it's going to go 200 yards 7-iron. It's for a golfer that is either coming up from the blades and say, hey, I need a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more stability in my shots, but I like the player look at address. And people who are maybe getting better at golf, like there's a big crossover right here in players' distance, which is coming to a little bit more of that player's performance as well. But this is that Dynapower family is all about a little bit more power and a bit more technology all built in to get the best performing iron. And this Dynapower Forge is a prime example of that. Still, again, pushing a little bit towards that player profile from a look standpoint, a little bit less offset compared to the prior gen. Top line is a little thinner, but you've still got your variable face thickness, which is like determined by AI simulation for determining mishits and face flexion and energy transfer back into the ball. Then you've got that TE urethane filled cavity for a better feel and sound variance. We've done a lot with this iron in a small kind of compact look to really push technology out there for the consumer who wants that crossover, wants a little bit more of a player look, but needs the forgiveness of it on distance, but also miss it. So
exactly. And not everybody
really
wants
good.
a big cast offset,
Yeah.
mega forgiving club. Like you said, it's kind of like there's an ocean of really, really good players. There's plenty of, there's a mountain of hacks, normal people like myself. And where the ocean and the land meet, there's a lot there too, right? Like that
Yeah,
valley,
there
if
is.
you want to call it that. And
Yeah.
that's where your Dynapower Forged and your Staff Model XB they're kind of up against each other, right? One's a little more forgiving and one's a little less, but they're both kind of swimming in the same pool to a point. And then the Dynapower Forge, of course, is priced outrageously reasonable. And I've got, I think, 3 or 4 guys on my staff playing Dynapower Forge, and definitely someone will be playing the XB this year as well. So, and then my brother plays the normal Dynapowers, and I can't say enough good things about the normal Dynapower and the Max. I sold the set of Max this morning to a buddy of mine in Florida. He was like, I went to a demo day at the Villages and I hit these things great. And I said, yeah, dude, hit me up and I'll hook you up with a deal. And he was just over the moon and he couldn't believe how well he hit him. He was already playing Launchpad 2s, so he wanted something a little more conventional looking, and Dynapower Max is that, right? A little more forgiveness, but crazy distance. Got it up in the air nice still. Love the sound, feel, look. And
yeah, it's just super easy to hit. That iron is just, it's not true. Like that golfer just wants to get up in the air, being a bit more consistent in strike location, get it on the green and let the putter do its work. That iron does exactly that. Easy to hit, good angles up in peak height, descent angles, all that 9 yards, and get it on the green and start making more putts. So that was the idea of that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a Dynapower XB at some point in time. Or XC or X something or other, because I would love to see a hollow body cast like a launch pad, but thinner. Anyhow, that's your job. There's a little feedback for you. You can take that for what it's worth. So Dynapower Max Plus driver. Let's talk about drivers for a minute. What golfer is that specifically built for?
So this golfer is honestly, it's designed for every golfer. We saw a good introduction to tour players playing max drivers. And then 10K Max came out and everyone was kind of like pushing that boundaries a little bit more. And the one thing that we wanted to do is let's make a player looking one at a dress. So we've peeled the top line where it attracts the better golfers, but doesn't deter golfer that maybe just wants the forgiveness part of it. Golfers can wail, the best ball strikers can wail on it and go after it. And the way that the head is designed and the forgiveness aspect with the flippable weight at the back from neutral to draw allows you to really go after each shot and be stable. So if you're pretty consistent on the fast swing speed of getting your face the path compared to face angle, like down the target line, you can go after that, and it doesn't spin as much as your normal 10K would go. The good thing about what the R&D team is, instead of it increasing the head weight to get to a 10K aspect, right? They kept it a little bit lighter and did some other stuff on the back end. So you can swing it faster, generate more ball speed, more club head speed, and get more distance, and comes out a little bit lower compared to your normal 10K, because you're going to have a big weight of mass at the back, and then normally the dynamic loft and everything spins up a little bit more, going to end up being a little higher trajectory, peak height. But with this one, it allows you to come out at really optimal launch conditions. So it's got all the tech that you see in all the other drivers, but the way more forgiving. This is the biggest forgiving driver that we've ever produced at Wilson. But we've kept it in a window that really competes with optimal, like down the 2600 range, 12 degrees of launch, but you get the forgiveness aspect on top of it. So
right.
Again, it's really fun to see.
Yeah, yeah, you guys are. I think the last few years you have been a player in the driver game, and I think this is just going to step it up and push it that much more.
Yeah,
And then the fairway wood, I can tell you, I got a lot of staff, a lot of my employees playing that. The hybrid looks good still. Yeah, I think that lineup is a winner. We already talked about Dynapower Forge. We should touch on wedges and putters just briefly because you guys do make some really good ones there. The wedge, the ZM is still the current model.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're one of the few companies forging a wedge, and again, a reasonable
Yeah,
price point.
exactly. The forge aspect alone is very hard to compete with when you have the price point that we have. It's a
Mhm.
really good wedge, and that ZM wedge it's designed to spin in the same in wet conditions as it is into dry conditions. So what the R&D team, we've got a new groove, a new garnet blast, a new mill pattern on the face, and the combination of all three, you see a really good spin retention in dry and wet conditions. It's so a lot of stuff. Anytime that you play, there's going to be moisture in the ground. In the summer or in the winter, there's always going to be some moisture in the ground. And
Right.
sometimes you might have seen something that launches a little higher and comes out of a knuckle in wet conditions. But you can't play for that. You don't know if it's going to happen or it's going to not happen. The unexpected aspect of that was hard to comprehend, at least from when I was playing. And how do we address that? And the way that the combination of all three, it allows you to go after a pin like you would in the summer, in the winter or wet conditions, and get the
Right.
same results. So the
Right.
combination of what we did there is fantastic in all conditions. We got multiple bounce and loft options for those golfers.
Yep, and that's been a winner in both in my store and with my staff too. And then I personally, I don't know how much you have to do with it, but I love the infinite wedges too.
Yeah, the infinite wedges are fantastic. Wedges are
Fantastic.
it's just a little bit more of a wider sole for those golfers that need a little bit more bounce
Yep.
in either their game or ground conditions that they push towards at a price point that it's really hard to beat. That goes kind of along with our putters as well. So
Yeah.
it's a fantastic performing wedge, just like the Staff Model ZM, but just add a little different demographic golfer that may not want that.
And then so the wedges line up with because there's way more hacks than good players. So I love it when the hacks get a bone thrown to them, and the price points as reasonable it is with Infinite. And then we should talk about that, how it maps over to the putter. So we just bought all your staff model putters from last year. We got a killer
Right.
deal on that. Beautiful, beautiful milled putter. I mean, top quality. Just I think it was a $350 putter. It's not, we're selling it for a deal now,
Mm-hmm.
but the Infinite putter, I don't know if you sent a cake over your buddies at My Golf Spy or how you lubed them up over there, but didn't they give you guys best putter or value or most wanted or whatever for the
Yeah,
Buckingham
it's one
last
of the
year?
best performing. Yeah, Buckingham.
It
It just keeps
is.
winning,
It
and
is. Yes.
it was when I was working there. It was winning awards then too. So it's a fantastic performing putter. Like every single one in the line, that one just kind of fits some eyes better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just performs well year after year. So yeah, at that price point to get those amount of array of offerings as well as performance, it's hard to beat. Really, it really is.
Yeah. And then the price point's reasonable. The grip is fantastic, and it's got a really nice
Mm-hmm.
head cover too. So when you're actually like you're sitting at a desk in Virginia and you're talking to all these people and you're looking at feedback and data and all that. When you're actually in the trenches selling it, which you've never actually worked retail, have you, in golf world?
No.
Okay, but you've been into golf stores, obviously. Like
Yeah.
when you're actually in the trenches, you're actually selling it. The little intangibles, like how does the grip feel and look, is so big. It's so big, and I still wish
It's
one of these companies would put really nice grips on their women's golf clubs once again, because
Mm-hmm.
women's clubs, the ladies just grab it and go, "Oh, I love the feel of this." Like back when Launchpad 2 was around, they had that synthetic wind style grip, I'll call it. I would love to see that come back for women, specifically. Men, it's tough because I know the volume of men's clubs is harder, but I would love to see that as a stock grip on women's stuff. The infinite putter and the head cover, they just nailed every detail of it. And I couldn't be more proud of you guys. I thought it was awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one. It all starts from actually when you walk up to that putting green and trying to catch someone's eye is the hardest part. And then if you can catch someone's eye and get them to pick it up,
Exactly.
that's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
And it's got a black shit. This is the staff model, but it's got a black shit or it's got a distinct look to it. And then most people look at the price tag and go, how much is it? 200 and what? It's not even close to that. And then we should, I think I'll just mention it, that there is a new infinite line coming, a little line extension.
There's a cheeky something coming. Yeah.
We'll probably leave it at that. But all those people out there that are looking for, like, there's a new buzzword that's very, very popular in the putter world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably have no idea what's going on in golf at all. But Infinite's entering that world and at a super reasonable price point. I thought the models were killer too. So I'm pumped about that.
I switched to it as soon as we started getting samples. Excuse me. And I haven't stopped making putts since.
Let's go.
Put
Let's
it that
go.
way. Yeah, I can't say anything more than that, but you obviously know what's coming.
Neither can I. Yeah, correct.
It's an absolute killer. So
it's
super
a killer.
excited.
Price point's right, and it's a few different models, and I think one of them's counterbalanced. But moving on to fittings, they wanted me to ask something really quick, and then we're going to move on to some fun stuff and wrap this up. I don't want to take it too much of your time, but any common fitting mistakes you see golfers make that they should avoid?
Lie boards is probably one that I see. Lie boards in general is kind of misleading because the ball jumps. If you hit it a little fat, the ball jumps up and actually it looks like you're hitting off the center, but you're probably hitting a little low or wherever. It's just it doesn't quite see and show you the true strike location on that lie board where you hit that plastic lie board just to try and see where it is. Because some people fit off of strike and lie and loft adjustments a little bit there. So just maybe that. I wouldn't say like where consumers look at. I would say my personal, when I look and fit myself, is launch angle compared to dynamic loft. So what I call is I have a rule of 3. So if I launch it at 10 and my dynamic loft is 16, I know that is kicking too early and it's open up and increasing dynamic loft. If I can get it within 3 degrees, and normally if I've launched it at 10 and my dynamic loft is at 13, I know I'm making as much ground as possible going down there. And then I look at spin and I look at descent angle from there. But I personally just look a little bit more at dynamic loft and launch characteristics and see where I'm at. Because if it's too much, then I might need a stiffer shaft. Or if I like to feel, I can tip it a little bit to bring that dynamic loft down. So I think maybe that's just what I do on my fitting. But hey, everyone has lots of different experience and philosophies on that.
One of the things that drives me crazy is when people equate swing speed or ball speed. Those are kind of one and the same, to what shaft flex they should be using. I always say the only thing that matters is performance. You're trying to maximize performance. I don't care if you need a ladies. Hit a ladies. Yeah. Hit a senior. Light flex. Like, I don't. One of our employees, really, really good player. He's probably in his mid-30s. This is years ago. I was in high school or college, a long time ago. But he won our employees tournament with his wife's driver, a ladies driver. And I was like, well, would anyone in the world fit him for that? Probably not. But he hit it better. So I don't know. I mean, what works. Like, don't argue with
works. And
results.
What will work for me probably won't work for you, and vice versa. Just go out and try and put that ego to a side. And it's tough to do that.
Tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. Just worry about results. Don't worry about, well, I have to have an X flex. I swing it at 108, I'm like, do you lose it to the right? Yeah, I do. I'm like, then the shaft's probably too stiff. Like,
whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to solve everything on this podcast. That's for sure. Some quick questions about the future, Wilson. And then I want to do some fun questions for you. Cause I really like your disposition and personality, and you're young. And so let's go. Is there a product category Wilson is especially excited about for the next few years?
I know you can't say we're excited. We're excited about everything. Like, we're really putting a lot of. I guess we're known more of an iron company from Wilson, and we're putting a lot of effort into woods, drivers, fairways, hybrids, while still maintaining a fantastic iron, line, and wedge. So for me, exciting wise, we may have a couple of cheeky numbers coming down the pipe for 27 and beyond, which I'm super excited to. I'm playing them right now because it's that good, but I can't say anything more than that. But yes, everything that we're doing was we're pushing boundaries a little bit more every single year and raising the bar, as I would call it, for R&D and marketing. And Wilson's it's making strides. So I'm excited to keep doing that.
I'm going to help you answer this. I'm actually going to give my answer first, then I want you to follow up. But if a golfer hasn't tried Wilson equipment in a long time, which 2026 club should they start with? Let me give you my own take on that, and then I want you to follow up with yours, because I'm going to give you what I want my customers and my consumers to know. As far as the woods go, this Max Plus driver is so good, like what you're talking about. It's Max K, crazy forgiving, but the launch is right and the distance is phenomenal. So I would start with that driver and then work off of that. You have 3 other models, I believe: the normal, the carbon, and the LS.
And Max, yeah.
And then as far as irons go, I mean, either I would tell people that the 2 starting points I would send them is normal Dynapower. If it's too offset, go to forged. If it's not offset enough and you need more distance, more help, go to Max, so you can kind of go in either direction. And then as far as the forgings go, I'm just a huge fan of this XB. This thing kind of knocked me off my feet. And I would tell people, if you're in that family, if you're that good, if you're like a single digit or maybe a 12, 13 or less, or a pretty good ball striker, and you want it forged, I would start XB and then work your way from there, either up to Dynapower Forge or down to a CB, MB or whatever. Would you agree with that assessment?
Exactly your 2 choices. Yeah, I would agree with both of those. I would say those golfers, whether or not they may or may not fit into the XB, go and hit it. It is that right. You just want to keep hitting it, right? You just want to keep having fun and just keep swinging it in the net or on the course. And then, hey, look, if it looks a little bit too intimidating, then you can go up to the Dynapower Forged. Or if you really want to go with that XB, hey, maybe even look at combo in them with a CB if you feel like you need to, or just go with all sets of XB. But I think just hitting it alone for the XB is just go try it. And then that Max Plus, exactly like you said. And one thing that we've got in there is that Link Q Blue Power Core shaft is absolutely phenomenal from US team. I mean, it's the aftermarket shaft that other companies are upcharging, but we put it into that driver as that stock offering for Wilson. It is an absolute fantastic performance shaft, and then you put it in that head, and it's an absolute marriage that is perfect to go in the market.
Right. Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. So here's putting you on the spot. I like this question, Caitlin. This is a good one. What excites you personally most about the 2026 lineup / what is your favorite club? And if it's the putter, we can't even talk about. I guess we can't even say too much, because this putter is going to knock people's socks off. I'm absolutely sure of that. But I guess sans the putter. Let's not talk about the putter, because we can't talk about the putter. Sans the putter. What is it? Is it what we were just talking about? Basically,
it's the XB blade combo. I'm going XB and blade combo for me personally, just because I liked a little bit more of I like the thinner look at my blades and CBs in the blades for the
short irons.
Short irons, thank you. And then I just, I don't necessarily like looking at a 4-iron blade with 220 yards over water with wind in my face and see a 4-iron blade. So I just need something a little bit more forgiving.
Not real confidence inspiring. Yeah, I hear you.
No, it's a little bit intimidating, but hey, that's not for what I wanted. So the combo set, it's just a fantastic performing product.
Whereas XB, you're like, I got a rocket ship in my hands, and if I hit this anywhere near the center, it's going to go. I don't got to worry about.
It's going to make it over. Yeah, it's just a fantastic club.
It is. So let's take your Wilson hat off a second, and let's just talk to Harry for a second. We're going to do some fun questions at the end. I like to close my show out with this. If golfing had a walk-up song, what would your walk-up song be?
Oh my,
that's a tough one. And your head probably wasn't in the space for music at this exact point.
My mind goes back to 90s and 2000s, like R&B. Like, I'm thinking Neo or Mario or someone like that going in. Yeah. There's so many songs that I grew up with that represent me and my personality. I can't that era, early 2000s. Put it that way.
Is American music? Is it the dominant force in the UK too, or in England?
Yeah, it translates over pretty well. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say you guys know how to rap more than we do in England. Right. So, yeah, it definitely translates over. Yeah.
Well, thanks for the Spice Girls, though. They were great.
You're welcome. We'll give you. We can give you One Direction too if you want.
Yeah. They were great too. I did like One Direction. Yeah. So, what is your favorite / best golf story?
Favorite golf story.
Somebody you played with, or a hole-in-one, or some weird shot, or something funny that happened.
It's just me and my buddy. We were 14 at the time. We were just playing, and we're playing this par 3, and I walked up. I hit first, got it within 6 foot, and then my buddy jarred it for a hole in one, and then the following 2 weeks, I ended up we're playing like the same course. 2 weeks later, he hits it within 2 inches, and he goes, "I'll get inside that," and I hit mine and like hold it. So it was a wild experience. 2 weeks
That's
later,
unbelievable.
and then the following year we were just playing around, chipping around, and we're just chipping on the course. And I'm just saying, this is such an easy chip, and my buddy couldn't do it. He couldn't figure it out, and I hold 4 chip shots in a row, and you just black out, and you're just holding chips, and it's just and he couldn't get close. So just a small little growing up memory of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had your first hole in one at age 14?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you
I've never come close since.
Was your I can semi-relate. I got one last year or 2 years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. But my first one was age 18. And so yeah, and I was on a hell of a dry spell there for a while. So hang in there, brother. Give it another 10 years. Was your buddies the first one you'd ever witnessed?
Yes.
I mean, there's no feeling like that. And at age 14, I don't think you can fully appreciate that. Exactly. I mean, you probably tackled them still, but like when your next one, you probably won't tackle someone because you're older and more mature now. Maybe you will. No, depends on what it is.
Definitely will. Don't worry.
I love it. But there's nothing quite like it. No other sport has what golf has, dude. I love it. Yeah. It's so much fun. That's great. Thank you for that share. That was awesome. What's your favorite club in your bag?
I love ripping driver, even when I shouldn't. Honestly, the carbon fairway wood, it's so hard to find a fairway wood that you really get along with. And once you find it, it's hard to get it out of your bag. This one for the carbon fairway was just so fun to hit. Easy, comes off really good. I can hit off the deck because I struggle hitting fairways off the deck. This one was just so easy. And once you find something, it's hard to get out your bag. And that one for me is that one. Yeah, so fairway for me, carbon fairway. Okay,
love it. I want to talk about one last question for you, then I want to bring up something here in a minute because I got a question about this. But who is in your dream foursome?
Dream foursome, probably Paddy. I've met him once. He was absolutely awesome. So I'd love to play around with him and pick his brain. Probably Tiger.
That's Padraig Harrington for people that don't know who he's talking about.
Padraig Harrington. Yeah. Tiger would be fun. I mean, if we roll back the years, maybe I would love Gary Player and then probably Jack Nicklaus. Yeah, I would think Jack would be a great
hard to argue, right?
And that's 4 pros, and not including me. I'll watch on the side. I don't care.
Right, you'll caddy. Yeah,
I'll just play a 5-ball down there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the old golfers to new, and then just seeing Paddy just do his thing and gaining distance off the tee. The older he gets is just impressive. Everything about Paddy is just a fun. He's a fun guy to be around.
He's on your guys' staff still.
He is, yeah. We won't let him go. He's just too. He's helped Wilson through the tough and to the glory days as well. So he's fantastic for us.
Well, he's a class act too that you guys can hang your hat on, and he's just a good guy. Exactly, his cousin was our quarterback here in Michigan for a while for the Lions, Joey Harrington. So thank you for that. Then that's the end of what I have written down here, and thank you for all that. I want to talk about this for a minute. You don't do golf balls, or do you do golf balls?
I am golf balls, part of hard goods. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, golf balls are part of hard goods. So this damn thing, I don't know what in the world you guys did to this thing, but this ball, our Wilson rep Pete, right? Like he drinks the Kool-Aid, but he's also pretty realistic about everything. And he says, "Hey, you got to try." And here's the new one too. I just brought this from my desk, but here's the new one, and then here's the new Staff Model X as well. But I don't know what you guys did to this thing, and I know you're one of 3 companies that makes, at least last I looked, you're one of 3 companies that makes golf balls this way, which is the most expensive way to make a golf ball. But this thing is an absolute rocket ship.
It is. No, it is. The Staff model is faster ball speed than most golf balls on the market, and then the X outdoes the Staff model by about 0.3 miles an hour. It is the fastest urethane golf ball on the market currently. Frank is our director of golf balls and R&D down there. I haven't seen him for about 4 years. He's just been cooking up golf balls in his lab. He's unbelievably talented. He knows exactly what composition off the top of his head that goes into a golf ball, how to make it faster, how to make it feel less clicky, how to drop spin without sacrificing speed, and lots of things that it goes way above my pay grade. I'll tell him to go make a golf ball and I want this characteristics, and he'll go and make it. So it's fantastic performing 4-piece premium golf ball on the market, and it's just, again, you got to go out and try them. Just go out and
Yeah,
try them and
yeah.
just hit them around and get used to them.
I've been playing it most of the last 2 years. I get lots of golf balls given to me, as you might have
Yeah,
guessed, being the owner of a large retail golf store. And Pete gave me these golf balls. And he's like, the wind affects it less. The ball's super long for a urethane. He's like, you're just gonna love the thing. Just try it. And
yeah,
I tried it, and I was like, wow, this is pretty
yeah.
impressive, and it is noticeably different. And then started giving them out, the old 2 ball packs you guys sample out, and I started passing those out to friends. And I would say probably 70-80% of them stuck with the ball. The price is right. It's
Yeah.
standard Wilson. You guys you're not too proud to make sure it has to be, $58 a dozen, right? Like, you guys price it right, and the product's phenomenal, and the performance is there. And my hat's off to you, man. You and your whole team. You're a young man, but you're doing a really good job, and you got a very bright future. And I'm glad you're with Wilson and Harry. It was an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on today, dude. I really
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you having me. It's absolute blast. Anytime, just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, Harry Nodwell from Wilson, the hard goods global manager, fine young man, and just an example of what Wilson's all about. So thank you very much. And I'll wrap it up with new episodes drop every other week. So be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And other than that, Harry, keep up the good work, dude. You're doing a great job, and Wilson's moving the right direction. And we're going to move a bunch of this stuff for you. I promise you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, get it in people's hands.
We will. We will. When this new putter drops, everybody's going to be crazy about that. That's going to be that will literally knock the putter industry over.
I'm hoping so.
I'm pretty positive of that. You guys nailed that one. So coming to you soon. So signing off for now, Harry. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All the best.